Okay, welcome everyone to another one of my ZBrush tutorials, and today we're going to show you how to make a plunger. And so I went over this several times, and I've been doing some training over at digitaltutors.com, where I've been really trying to up my level of ZBrush sculpting. But anyway, I'm going to show you how to make a plunger here, and I made it kind of by accident, but I want to show you how I go about it. So to start off, we start off with a cylinder 3D. We drag it to the canvas, and now we have a cylinder 3D. And of course, we want to make it into a poly mesh. Oh, we want to initialize it first off. We're going to give it an inner radius. We're going to hole in it. This is going to be the head of our plunger here. So anyway, we got that. So we make it a poly mesh, and now it's in our subtool palette. And what I like to do, just to keep track of things, let's go ahead and rename this. And I'm going to call it Plunger Head, just to kind of keep track of things, keep it organized. So what I've been doing here, I've been exploring this new tool called the Dynamesh, and I'm going to turn on a floor for reference here. Now, something I recently learned in ZBrush, you can have any reference plane you want, and by going on the X, Y, or Z up here on the floor. So you can use any one of these reference planes, but just for this one, I'm just going to use X for right now. But it kind of helps you keep oriented and see what which direction you need to turn everything. So what I'm going to do is first with the Dynamesh tool, which is a really great way to sculpt, and so we have this Dynamesh button, and when you press this, it kind of makes a skin. It's similar to the unified skin, but not exactly the same. But it has a couple of settings here. You have a resolution of 128, you have a blur setting, and you have a project setting, which I haven't quite explored yet. But what we're going to do, we're just going to go ahead and actually we can divide this to give it a little bit, make it a little bit smoother to start off. We'll divide this a couple times, say up to level 3, and then we'll go in and we'll do our Dynamesh. Now you hit the Dynamesh and you say yes. So what it did, it froze it down to looks like, I forgot about that part. So it went back to the lower levels. So we'll do the no, that's not going to do it. Okay, I'm getting off to a bad start here. We're just going to delete the lower, and we're going to do our skin from there. Okay, so now we've Dynameshed. Okay, now we've got, you can see it's almost like the unified skin in a lot of ways. So we got that, and we'll turn the polyframe off. So initially what I did is I did some masking here, and I'm going to go about 2/3 of the way and mask off that part, and then we're going to blur our mask. Do it a couple times, and what I want to do is get the part of the plunger where the handle goes in. So I'm going to go into my deformation palette here, and I'm just going to resize along my X and Y axis. So we'll shrink that down and kind of get it down about like so, and that is a little bit thin. It also thins the thickness down, so we're going to take care of that here momentarily. Meantime, I'm going to inverse this mask, and then we're going to resize along the Z-axis here. Oh. Turn off the X and the Y, put on the Z, get it just a little bit, just a little bit more, about like so. Okay, so we're going to clear our mask, and what I want to do is take care of this part here, because it shrinks it down internally also. So we're going to mask off this portion here, and we're going down to the Inflate Balloon, and we're going to inflate that a little bit. Ooh, not too much. I like that. So now we'll clear this mess. So now we've got a pretty good start here. So what I want to do here is I want to smooth down some of this, some of these edges. So you can always hit the Shift key, and you can also change the intensity up here. I'm going to take it down to about 63. And so when you hit the Shift key, it'll turn blue, and you can smooth some of this out, get some of these hard edges off here, and just kind of go around it here. And if you hold down the Shift key and leave it on the surface, you get a different type of smoothing. It kind of relaxes the mesh there. And you hit it again, and you can, once you start, then you can just release the Shift key, and as long as you're on the surface, it will give you a kind of a relaxed mesh mode here. So we'll do a little smoothing here. And of course, not any time. You can, if you like, I mean, you can go in with your clay buildup tool, and maybe if you want to, like, just maybe add a little bulk here and there, maybe give it a little organic feel. You can do that as well. And then, you know, if you don't like any of that, you can smooth it out. So I think a lot of the plungers, the plastic and the rubber ones, they're made from a mold, so some of them might be rough, and you know, you could go in there with your clay buildup brush at a real low intensity, and maybe I'm always losing my focal shape. You can go in there and add some bulk to this. You know, maybe it didn't come out of the mold perfectly. You know, maybe it's a lower price plunger that you go in one of the big superstores and buy. And you know, maybe it costs you $5 or $6, or it may be a resin plastic type plunger. But anyway, that's your. And of course, now you can straighten this out with this top here. You can flatten that. You want to flatten along the Z-axis, and you can flatten it out a little bit, and you can go in and smooth that off as well. Kind of nice and even. So now we got our plunger head established, and let's see, I believe in our subtool we got a name, plunger head. Okay, so now we need our handle. So we just grab another cylinder here, and you turn it in. Actually, you can append right here, and just pick the. Let's see, where is the cylinder? You can append it right in there, and it'll convert it for a poly. It'll convert it to a poly mesh for you automatically. Now, of course, it's not the size we want, so we're going to turn on transparency and make a few tweaks there. So what I want to do is, maybe we're going to divide this a little bit before we do our Dynamesh. Kind of get it divided up there, and we're going to delete our lower, so when we do go to our Dynamesh, we don't get that warning. So we're going to make it into a Dynamesh. And now we're going to turn it into our handle here through the deformation palette. So we want to size the XY for now. I want to get it down to a size that'll fit right into the right there. That looks about right. And now we want to lengthen it a little bit. And of course, if you get it too big and maybe you think it's overlapping a little bit into the head itself, you can always go back in and make some adjustments from there. So it makes a nice tight fit through the head there, the head of your plunger. So let's see, I believe we've made this into a Dynamesh, so we're good there. And because we're going to lay a wooden texture on this, I'm going to divide this one more time, so the detail will stand out. We'll have a much tighter old mesh there to lay our texture on. Alright, so we've got that. Now we need to offset it along the Z-axis, I believe. Yeah, so we're going to pull it up and get it into position. And as you can see, with the transparency on, you can get a little bit of precision here. Right about there. Okay. We got a handle in. Now I want to fill my handle with a basic material. Before, let's go back to the plunger head, because this matte cap wax material is about as close to perfect for your traditional rubber plunger. So we're going to go ahead and fill that. Turn on an MRGB, and we'll just say fill object. So that will fill our plunger head. Now for our handle, we'll just use a basic material, and we'll move this up to the white, and we'll fill that with a basic material. Now the next step I want to go to is we want to put a wooden texture on this. So we're going to use our spotlight, another tool I've recently found out about. And so we can go up here to our light box, and ZBrush comes with a lot of really good textures. I didn't really realize how many they had in there. I never really looked into it. Well, we got just all kinds of textures here, and I went on the internet and found some free ones and added a few to that collection. I'm going to zip through here and get a wooden texture, and let's see here. So one toward the end here. This wood texture. This is the one I've been. Now we use this lighter color. This is so we just double click on that, and now we've got that in our box. Turn our light box off. Now we go up to the texture, wherein we turn our spotlight on, and of course we want to add this image to our spotlight, and so we got it on there. Now this spotlight, there's some other. If you really want to dig down deep in the ZBrush and figure out, bump your skills up a little bit, I'll recommend digitaltutors.com. That's where I've been going, and I paid $255 for 6 months, and I can sit here and watch, and you can get certificates. If there's anything that you want to brush up on, you can always go back into this. All kind of tutorials there, and there's a lot of ZBrush. So we're going to add this to our spotlight, and this has this little radial dial, and as you can see behind the texture, that is the radius of the spotlight. So that's what we're going to use to paint our texture on to our handle. So now we can just hit Z key and turn it off, and we're ready to go. So we can just we've got our RGB intensity to 100, and raise this up a little bit. I've got a fairly big spotlight here, but you can always go back in the Z and turn that radius down if you like, and Z to come out of there. So I'm just going to paint this on here, and it goes on both sides. You go all the way down into the business end of the plunger. So there's your texture. Alright. So now we can hit Z. I think we have to turn it off. Just turn it off. And, so now we've got our texture on there. We can turn the transparency off now and just take a look at what we got. So we got our plunger here. It's a fairly easy object to make. I kind of made it by accident. And the matte cap red wax is perfect for the color. So I just, personally I wouldn't change it. But anyway, so now a couple more things. What I want to do is when you have it all in the subtools like this, when you want to display it, I like to do a lot of still images, and that's what I've been doing mainly. And you can see the floor down here. Well, there's another way you can get the plunger to fit on the floor, but it's a lot easier if you want to continue editing this plunger and you want to put it all in one piece. What you can do is you can go down to merge, and you hit UVs, and that will, afterwards, when you merge these visible subtools, you'll still be able to go back and edit the parts individually, but you'll be able to transform them as one piece. So we'll just hit merge visible, and so now we should have a merged, it's called a merged PM3 cylinder. And so anyway, now our plunger is in one piece. You can see in the subtool it's been merged. So onward and upward. Now we want to somebody else showed me a little trick to make sure your your textures stick on your objects. And what you can do, you can hit the G key and you just select colors, and what this is called baking. So you just drop it, then hit G again, pick it up now, then you rotate it a quarter turn, G, and G again, pick up now, rotate another quarter turn, G, drop now, G again, pick it up now, and then another quarter turn, G, drop now, G, pick up now, and then the ends. This bakes the textures on there and kind of gives them some integrity. Hit G again, pick up, and then G again, drop, and G again, pick up now. So that bakes your textures in place. So anyway, what I want to show you, once you merge these, as when you hit that UV button down here, when you merge them, I'll show you why that's important. Because you can hold down Shift Control and click on this. Oh, it's not working correctly. Well, maybe I did something wrong there. You should be able to, let's go to the standard tool. Okay, I did something wrong there. So they're tied together. Okay. Well, anyway, I'll cover that in another section. I might not have hit the UV button when I merged it, but anyway. So I'm getting ready to render and display this. So we want this grid a little bit bigger, and of course we want to turn our perspective on. And you can go to draw, and I found this just by mistake. Just jack up that grid size. So now you know it's you don't have that edge over there where you know the shadow might fall off the edge, and so anyway, you can put this thing and however you want to display it. Okay, what I was going to show you also is, because this is laying on the floor, we need to rotate this. So we can go to our rotate and get our transform tool, and we can, because this is laying on the floor, gravity's going to pull it down, of course, so the handle's going to be sitting on the floor like that. Alright, now we got our perspective on, and if you're out there, maybe if you're a prospective plunger salesman, you can display your plunger. And also, to get this darkness out of the background, you can go to your document, hit the back key, slide it down in your slider areas, and you can get several different gradients here. But I like to get that nice, kind of that neutral gray one. And so now we got it on the floor, and we're going to set up our lighting a little bit here. You can alt-click and drag. I had trouble getting this working occasionally. There you go. And you can get it behind the sphere. So we've got our shadows on. We've got our intensity up. So you hit the BPR. And no, that's a really long shadow on that one. You might want to bring that a little more forward. Yeah, it's light sometimes elude me. And I can't seem to find the median edge on that. Sometimes if you turn the floor, that helps. And maybe rotate it around here. I think I got the floor up really high at an angle. We can adjust the angle here. Try the BPR again. So my shadow's getting a little bit shorter. I think let's see how our perspective is. We could set it like that maybe. So you got kind of a little bit of a shadow there, not too distant. And I want to turn it again. But anyway, you can play around with the shadows there, and so I've got the light behind it, so it's making quite a long shadow. So I'm not going to drag this out. We're just going to put it in front of it and do it like that. There we go. And of course you can add another one in there and have it maybe shining in the other direction. And of course you have to turn on the shadow. So raise my ambient up a little bit. So now we got two little shadows there. Now you can further tweak these shadows. You can go right over here to render properties, hit smooth normals, turn on your depth Q, turn on your soft Z, your soft RGB, and you can go down to BBS shadow panel and you can make some adjustments here also. So we can crank down the floor strength. We don't want those shadows to be so strong, and we can add some blur to it. Now of course this adds to the render time a bit, so we'll try that. And see, we're rendering 16 samples up there, so I'm going to get this little extra realistic blur here. You know, this is our showroom model for our plunger. You know, this is the one that everybody wants to buy, so you want to have it looking real nice in the showcase there, and set up your lighting for your plumbing store. So anyway, that's how to make a plunger, and I'll be making some more tutorials. I'm probably going to do my next one, or probably how to make a hammer. And I've been working on hammers, and I've got a really good way to sculpt and make a hammer. So that's it for today, and thanks for watching. And make sure you tune into my program over at Freedomizer Radio. I'm on the air from 10 a.m. to 12 a.m. Pacific Standard Time every Tuesday. And I'm trying to get up some interesting guests lined up, so you can also tune into my show at Freedomizer Radio. That's www.freedomizerradio.com. And be sure to be on the lookout for more of my ZBrush tutorials. And so that's it for now. So we'll see you later.